We are live. Hello, folks. What's up, everybody? Hi, Vikrant sir.
Hello, Surya sir. How are you? What's up?
All
And
good,
how's
all
how's
good, sir.
everybody doing there? कौन आया है? We have Anish, we have Garima, and we have another couple of messages from Anish,
Yep.
and he's checking with people already who all have slot two. Oh, those of you who are in Noida, see, I have my center in Sector 60 for Noida. So if you are there, I'll have to check the exact name. I'll love to catch up with you. And in between, let's see if we can take some questions. So first up, the big news: the admit cards are finally out
Finally.
after a delay. We typically expect these to come out around 5th of November,
Yep.
but there have been a delay of a week. But I don't think that matters much. At the end of the day, what matters is that you have the admit card. And
Mm-hmm.
my experience so far is that it's typically the start of a journey, an event. And once you get the ticket of a movie,
Correct.
you go and watch the movie.
It's
You get
official
that.
now, yeah.
Now that you have your cat admit card, your job is to go
Yeah.
and write the cat to the best of your ability. And then we're getting some questions. Let's see, sir Surana
Huh.
sir, if there is anything that you would like to add, and then I'll
Uh,
pick up a question.
yeah. So officially, the admit cards are out now, but earlier the jump scare that you got, slot one became now slot two is now slot three, and there's a change in the exam center as well. So I'd recommend that with proper attention, proper clarity, please re-look, have a look again at your admit card to check which is your
Hmm.
designated venue and the slot as well. Because if you're still with the idea of the older one, then I would strongly recommend you to go check that. Uh, yeah, apart from that, okay, if you guys can let us know which slot you've received, slot one, slot two, slot three in the chat. Meanwhile, Vikrant sir, if you'd like to take some questions.
Yeah, absolutely. So we've Sharma Style is asking about he applied for caste certificate, hasn't received it yet. Will that be a
Right.
problem in the exam? Not at all,
No.
dude. You will require it when you eventually go for your interviews and VAT. So
Yeah.
until then, it is not. It is a non-issue. Don't worry at all.
Hmm.
And then
I
we
think
have
only for
Aman.
PWD you would require a certificate during the
Ah,
exam, but apart from that certificate, I don't think you need anything else at all.
And Sharma Style specifically mentioned caste certificate, so
Caste
we skipped
certificate,
that.
correct. Yep.
But Aman says, I am going to sit in the CAT exam, but my main focus is on NMAT and ZAT. Sir, guide how I manage the syllabus. Aman, I don't know, yaar. My, I think your main focus is to have a great career, which
Ah,
basically means that getting into a great B school, considering that CAT also opens the doors of a lot of high quality premier colleges.
yep.
I don't think I would take cat casually if I were in your place. But yeah, it's and then I don't know, Surana sir, if you have a different take. I don't even understand what is the difference between a main focus and secondary
And
focus.
side
As a
focus,
focus
yeah.
is focus.
Yeah.
Either you focus
Uh,
or you don't focus.
Don't, correct,
So
correct.
there can be
Irrespective of
priority.
whichever test that you're giving, I'd recommend that whichever test you're giving at that moment, please give full focus there. Because if you're going to put your entire focus on your plan B, or let's say if CAT was your plan B and NMAT and ZAT are your plan A, and if at all they don't work out and you've already lost on CAT as well now, so then you'd have to, spend another year and you don't want
Absolutely.
that. So
Absolutely. I think
at that
plan
moment,
ABC.
whatever, correct.
Plan ABC anyway work when you go ahead and give your best to each one of
Best,
those,
correct,
unless you
yeah.
have the final admission letters in your hand. So
Yep, yep.
just go out and put it your best. And as far as covering the syllabus goes, yeah, you can go ahead and watch the lectures that we have taken on the for the OMAT batch.
Yeah.
We've already uploaded quite a few sessions for NMAT, and we are pretty soon going to start with our Snap series. And the
Mm,
moment we are done with the CAT, we'll also start the sessions for that. So you'd get all that information. Moreover, a large chunk of the syllabus is anyway similar. That, of course, has an entire section called decision making that we'd be talking
mm,
about later. But apart
yep,
from that, I think you don't have to do anything new per se for these exams. There can be a change
yeah,
in the strategy, change in the difficulty level, but everything else will remain essentially remain the same.
yep. Garima is asking slot 2 easy or difficult. Garima, please let us know if you find that out before giving the test, because I don't think there is any foolproof way of knowing which slot is easier or comparatively difficult without giving all the three papers and then realizing on your own. And I would again recommend you not to fall into that, because this is proper quicksand. Once you get into which slot was difficult last year, how about in 23 slot 1 was more easy. Once you get into that conversation, you are completely lost. You've lost your focus on your preparation, and you're relying more on how they are going to set the paper, which is, giving entirety. You are giving the controls in their hand, which you don't want to do that at this moment. So focus more on your preparation, irrespective of how difficult the slot is. If your slot, for example, is a little more difficult than the other two slots, then don't worry. There is something called score normalization. Your scores will get scaled up if at all the slot is difficult for everybody. So don't worry about that. Shruti, again, slot 3 easy or difficult. At this stage, I'd recommend you to remember the fact that all three slots are going to be difficult. There's no easy slot ever that we have seen in CAT. When they say easy, it probably could be like a 3 to 5% easier than the other slots, but that's not going to make any changes, any difference, if you don't focus on your preparation at this stage. So forget about all of these questions, and maintain your focus, aim whatever your aim is at, scoring in CAT, that is.
I loved this one word that Surana sir used a while ago, quicksand. There was a particular viva in my college where somebody told me that this external examiner is a very strict one. Now, because you think it is a strict one, you go in with
Yeah.
a certain mindset and you are extra anxious, extra nervous. But then that examiner actually turned out to be a pretty,
Yeah.
what nowadays we'd call a chill guy. Huh? So I think at the end of the day, the difficulty level does not matter. If you think
Yeah.
along these lines, you lock yourself into a particular test taking strategy which is
Hmm.
suboptimal. Moreover, I'm saying let's not even talk about the difficulty level of the exam at all. You have just one question on your screen at any given point of time. You can either solve it or you cannot solve it.
Yeah.
That's all. That's the only call that you need to take at first pass. And then, in case you can solve it, you need to decide whether you want to solve it right now or leave it for later. That's all. That's
Hmm.
all that you need to do, and make sure that you just follow that approach and are able to realize your potential. That's all that
Yeah.
counts for. And then somebody says VARC strategy, VARC marks, not able to manage time in mocks, etc. So there is an entire video on our sister channel, which I'd uploaded a few months ago, where I talked about how to increase the scores in VARC. You can probably go check that out. But otherwise, at this juncture, you know how much time you take to answer a typical question of a particular type. So
Yep.
just plan things accordingly. So for instance, in my case, now I loved starting with best summary. Huh?
Hmm.
I think of it as a warm up for RCs. So I start with best summary questions, then I go and figure out the sequence in which I want to attempt the RC passages which are there in
RCs.
the exam. Then I'd solve two RC passages, and then I'll think, now should I continue with RC or should I maybe solve a few VA questions? So if I see another passage which is easy for me, I'd go ahead and do that. Otherwise, I'll start comparing. So that's how I typically approach it. And in your case too, by now you have worked up some competencies. Use those and make sure that you're able to maximize your score. If you have a specific question, I can definitely help you, question type or something
Yeah.
that is stuck in fact, both of us are also going to be taking a marathon on that sister channel today, and a
Today.
marathons here as well.
Yeah.
So, Surana sir, do we have any marathon planned for this channel today, Surana sir? In case,
Not
I
today,
think not
no,
for
but
today,
yeah.
but I think
This
for a day
week,
after.
this weekend we do have one.
Hmm.
Yes.
How many mocks ideally I have to give from now on? From now on, how many mocks? Surana
Hmm.
sir, what's your call?
Uh,
19 days. How
I,
many? 17 days. How many
17
mocks?
days. Yes, yes, yes. With 17 days in hand, if you've not given any so far, then I'd recommend, it would take you at least 3 to 5 mocks to get used to the idea of the interface and how to manage the time and how to choose the right kind of sets and questions. I think it would take you at least 3 to 5 just to get used to that, and then you can get into that mock giving mode full on. Uh, what do you say, sir? I'd recommend maybe one every 2 days or one every day at this stage. I think if you've not given any, would be a little too much. With 17 days in hand, at least 10, I think you should definitely aim at. Give mocks, analyze. But if you've given earlier, then you can definitely, if you've already gotten into the groove of it, then you can definitely give one every day. What about you, Vikrant? So would you agree with that?
The same here. I think
Uh,
I am. It's very subjective. So
yeah.
if you're somebody who's done with the syllabus, you've
Mm,
already written quite a few mocks and you've
yeah.
analyzed them. So now the challenge for you is to stay in that zone and to have enough mistakes in order to figure out what needs to be fixed.
Yep.
Right. So in that case, yeah, maybe writing one mock a day can also be a good idea for a select few. For
Mm,
most of you, I think the number would lie somewhere between 3 to 5 mocks. Personally, I I never enjoyed writing a mock in the last 7 days. As MS Dhoni used to say, the last 2 days, last 3 days do not determine how you perform in the tournament. It's the last couple of years. So
yep.
similarly, I mean, whatever you've done so far is going to have a much bigger impact on your performance. So in last week, entirely up to you. But until then, we have 10 days, so you can definitely write 3 to 5 mocks.
Yeah.
And in case, as Suran sir has already pointed out, if you are somebody who's just about starting, it is even more important for you to analyze and then act on the basis of that analysis,
Yep.
which may mean that you end up writing maybe only a couple of mocks. You never know. But for
Mm,
most of us, I think 3 to 5, 3 to 7, for some
yeah.
select few more. Then what do we have?
Sai Kiran is saying LRDI is too drilling. I think that's the nature of that section, to grill you as much as possible. And it is placed strategically in between, VRC and quant. Yeah. So don't worry about it. I think on based on the preparation that you've done so far, analyze the mocks that you've given or the sectionals that you've given, identify which, kind of a student you are. So I just made a video on this channel itself a couple days ago. You can have a look at that video to analyze, to understand where you are and what kind of a student you are who's, attempting the DILR section. And for each kind of a, student, I've given the right kind of strategy to help you go to the next zone. So I've color coded it: zone red, zone green, blue, and yellow. So that way you will know when to, what exactly should you do to move to the next zone. So you can
Oh
go
wow.
check that video out.
I
That'll be
love
really
color.
helpful.
Huh, I love color coded things. I think I will also check that out and hit you up later. Huh,
That's
or
something that
maybe.
a guy with an OCD issue does, right? If it's properly, I wouldn't say
Hmm,
OCD, but yeah, if it's organized, it becomes very easy for you to know what
absolutely.
should be your next course of
Hmm.
action.
And I think it goes without saying that, in fact, forget DLR, this entire journey is a journey where they are going to drill you. You realize the IMs are
Yeah.
very actively discouraging you from
Mm.
joining them. Say, oh, you want to join us? Here is an exam. Why don't you write this? And then here is an essay. Why don't you write it? And then we will grill you during the interview too. And if you get an admission letter, we'll also send you a hefty fee bill later on. So I mean, there is this. It's the entire process is where you realize
Yeah.
they are trying to discourage you. So in such a situation, all that you need to do is maintain your courage and push
Yeah.
through, persevere. And then there is somebody who says, I've done everything that you've told me, but I'm not able to get anything right in VARC. I mean, that was the gist of the message.
Mm.
Dude, I think you, in that case, haven't done everything. Okay. Because if you've managed to do everything, it is impossible that you will not get more than 90 to 93 percentile.
Yep.
So I'm absolutely confident that if you go ahead and act on our plan, 90 to 93 percentile is something that everybody reaches. Beyond that, of course, there are a lot of other things, deeper analysis, etc., that will come into picture. But considering that you're saying you're not able to understand passages, I mean, just think
Mm.
of it. Have you worked on your vocabulary? Have you engaged in extensive level appropriate reading and then gradually moved up? You'd have to check those things, I reckon. Then any other message, sir, that you could pick up? There
Uh,
is
I think Dhruv has summarized a lot of students' issues. He says, I
hmm,
got slot one and became an early bird from a night owl, but now I've got slot three, so now I have to change my sleep schedule again. Yeah.
since you
So
are a night
they
owl, it'll be easy for you, yeah.
easy for you, but yeah, I don't think you've spent so many days. I think it's just 3 4 days since you found out that you might have to give slot one, and then now you get slot two, slot three. But I think that's what CAT is about, right? It's not just about looking at questions and answering them, but also being mentally prepared for it and biologically also prepared for it, that you'd be able to in the evenings also you'd be able to have the right kind of attention span and focus while giving the test. So yeah. uh,
Uh, Kashish says sectional test or full mock. Kashish, at this juncture, I'd be biased towards mock tests. So
yeah,
the utility of sectional tests is that in those areas where you have a wide variety of question types,
yeah.
sectional tests can help you figure out exactly which question types to focus on in the week ahead. But at this juncture, I think mocks are probably going to be a better bet. At least for VARC, for sure, you can skip the section tests.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe Swarana sir can talk about the other sections then.
Yeah. Same thing.
Amika says I
Yeah.
hate slot three. That's okay. As long as slot three does not hate you,
Doesn't hate you.
we are all
I
fine.
was about to say that exact same thing. The feeling should not be mutual, is all that you can expect. That's
True.
it. Gave
I was
three mocks and
scrolling.
scores dropped drastically after changing the timing. Dhruv, I'm assuming your statement is in continuation to your earlier question. So yeah, that might happen majorly because of your change of mentality at that moment. Because you were, you had kind of prepared yourselves mentally that yes, mine is going to be slot one and I'll have to give my paper early in the morning. But now that it's in the evening, that change in thought itself might could have thrown you off. So I would recommend that again, give a couple more mocks at the same time, irrespective of what you score. Just focus on the analysis, don't look at the score. But just give your body and your mind a little bit of time to adapt to the change, and I think you can see improvement there as well. It's just the yeah, see, one good thing is, Dhruv, when you're sitting in the center, I don't think you'll realize what time it is, because you'd not have enough time for you to look at the clock or something, because you'd have the timer running and you'll be on the edge of the seat throughout those 120 minutes. So it wouldn't matter if it's which part of the day you're giving the test, as long as you are able to sit there and give the test and not sleep off. So that's all you should try at this moment.
Hmm.
Give a couple mocks, give yourself some time, your body and mind some time to adapt to the change. That's it.
Rohan, that's a wise decision. Tanmay, any change in
uh,
question pattern? We don't know, yeah. I mean, we haven't seen a new area or a new skill getting introduced in the CAT exam, a new skill that's tested. The patterns keep on changing. We don't worry much about that,
mm,
you know.
mm, mm.
So
Uh,
don't worry there. And then there is Vipul says, I live in Mumbai. All my preferences were of Mumbai region. I ended up getting a center in UP. Glitch? I don't know. I think you should first and foremost check your form. Maybe there was some inadvertent mistake. Maybe your first preference accidentally was of
yeah.
some place in UP, but otherwise it's extremely rare. Yeah, we haven't seen
Unless and
such things
until one
happening.
of your preferences were in UP, I don't think they do it.
Hmm.
But I don't know if you've checked the new admit, I mean, new name, the only official admit card, if you've checked it or not, please check that once. But that's very rare thing to happen, that they change the state, maybe the
Hmm.
city, or one of your five
How,
preferences is
how
what they
Jaimin has
normally
written his
give.
center change from Mumbai to Nashik and what to do. It's okay. Just travel to Nashik, write the
Travel,
exam. Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
What else?
Yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, thankfully, see, I come from a very small town. When I was your age, I knew that the center is never going to be in my town and I'd have to
Correct.
travel. And that's the truth for majority of the people who appear for these exams. So, I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah.
I don't know how far Nashik is from Mumbai, but whatever it is, I'm sure you can
Mhm.
manage that. It's okay. So don't sweat such small stuff. It's fine. Don't let it rattle you. Are only
S-
PYQs enough for DILR?
uh,
Asks Simran
There's
Aluwala.
one word, Simran, I'd like to remove from your question is this four-letter word, which is only. Are PYQs enough for DLR? The answer for that itself is a little shaky. When you ask, are only PYQs enough, then I think with any section, specifically with DILR, nothing is enough because you have no clue what part or what area they are going to test you with. Is it going to be only DI? Is it going to be only LR? Is it going to be more of one of the two? When you don't know that, only the word itself is a very tricky one. And what I would say that I think similar question Dhruv's also asking, what I would recommend is focus on previous year questions, but understand one thing: same question or same question type, the chances of them happening, right, where they're replicating a question or the exact same question came with changed numbers or names, that's not going to happen, because cat in all these years they have not done that. Even if you take last 7 years paper or last 10 years paper, you'd understand, that that has never happened so far. The only reason why we say that you give PYQs is you so that you get into the groove of what kind of questions cat usually ask, and you understand what their mentality is when they ask a particular type of set. That's the only thing. But expecting that a same set that could happen in quant, because they are asking say 20 24 completely different kind of questions for 3 slots, and for these many years, that could happen that a particular question or a question type might repeat. But with DILR, there's already so much to explore. Repetition, I don't think that could ever happen. But yeah, focus on previous year questions. If possible, if you could, give previous year questions as a mock. That is, time yourselves, give yourselves 40 minutes, time yourselves, and then give the previous year question. That way, you would have done both. You would have answered PYQs as well as you would have given a mock that way. So,
And
one
if you are,
stone, two birds. Yeah.
and in case you haven't done the PYQs yet, chances are that you won't even be able to finish them
Finish. Yeah,
until
yeah.
the cat
Yeah.
exam.
Last 5 years itself is 15 papers. That's on an average, if you take 6 sets a
In fact,
paper,
Vipul has
that
shared the number. He says there are
one
114.
14 exactly.
So,
Yeah.
and Vipul, yes, it's in case you've made no mistake in the form, it's a good idea to write an email. There is no harm in doing that for sure.
Mhm.
So check that out, and then so Rana sir 5 बजे DI का set लेकर के आ रहे हैं बिल्कुल यार. I will of course be here, so you know that. Uh,
Yeah, Yatharth, today's mocks focus is going to be on games and tournaments. But like I said, I'm planning a one shot on data interpretation soon. It's going to happen sometime this week. So rest assured, we will be doing data interpretation separately. But today, what I'm going to focus on are questions from games and tournaments, because a lot of people have this predefined notion with games and tournaments that any question that you see is by default difficult. So I just want to change that thought process and help you understand what kind of questions from GNT are doable and which ones you should completely avoid. Yeah, and I'll be following Vikrant sir. Vikrant sir will go at 5 p.m. And then I'll follow him at 7 p.m.
on the sister channel, not on this channel
on
in
the
case
other
you'll have
channel. Yeah,
it.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So we're basically conducting marathons on both the channels. On the sister channel, the medium of instruction is English. Here it is
Yeah,
exclusively English. And I think since we start at 5, I think I would at least like to stop here for this session today so that I'm
yeah,
ready for the marathon. All the best for the exam. And we are going to remain with you throughout over YouTube and over our official groups. So
yeah.
please make sure that you stay in touch and reach out to us in case there is any problem.
Yeah.
Okay,
All
all right
right,
then.
folks, all the very best. If you're watching this later, then you can, drop in the comments. In the comments, just drop in which slot you got. And I think, sir, we missed something. There is a comment, there is a chat that is pinned, if you can see right now, which is a Google form. If you've not already filled that, please go through it and fill it, which is going to help you once you're done with the test. So the moment you're done with the test is when you're most anxious, because you don't know what kind of slot you've received. Is it going to be a difficult one or an easy one, or what you could expect from it? And even after you get your response
Hmm.
sheets, what should you be expecting in terms of the percentile? And what about the accuracy of the paper? Are there any questions that are incorrect, or is there anything that you have to raise? And beyond that, also when you go down to GD and PI, so this data will be really helpful for us to track you, so that we can keep in touch with you and help you throughout till the day you are at the doorstep of your dream B school, right? So don't forget to fill up that form. And yeah, I think we've
That's
checked
all,
in
huh?
all the boxes for today. If you have any questions or queries, feel free and drop them in the comments. We'll be more than happy to help you.
And in case you want some practice, join us on our
Yeah.
sister channel MBA Wallah at 5 p.m., where we'll take you through two sections today, VARC and DILR, in that order. Chaliye then. All right. Have a great day ahead. Catch you guys later. See you.
Cheers, cheers, everybody. Ta-ta.